Apple's beloved iMac hasn't been getting that much love recently, despite being by far the most unique Mac that's loved by so many Mac enthusiasts, including myself. In fact, it's been almost 2 full years since Apple's famous spring event in 2021, where they unveiled an impossibly thin 24-inch iMac design where the entire computer sits within just the narrow chin, and that was of course only possible thanks to the new Apple Silicon M1 chip. But now we just got confirmation that Apple is not only working on the new M3 model, but it's actually in the later stages of production. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about it, including the release date, as well as the mysterious 27-inch Pro model. Just last month, Mark Gurman from Bloomberg gave us a huge update on the iMac, saying that Apple is currently getting it ready for launch, as it has already entered an advanced stage of development called EVT, or Engineering Validation Testing. So it's basically finished and they're just doing the final testing before release. Now, as far as the design, Mark says it'll come with the same 24-inch display size, which makes total sense because it just got redesigned, and the previous 21.5-inch model stayed that way for years. He also expects no change at all in terms of the color choices, which kind of makes it seem like this new 2023 model is going to be identical in terms of the design, with all of the changes happening on the inside. So because of that, don't expect any changes to the display quality or features, and definitely don't expect anything like 120Hz ProMotion technology or anything like that. The main point is that the internals will be relocated and redesigned to accommodate the new M3 chip, which is going to be the main selling point of this new iMac. Now, the new M3 chip might not sound like a huge deal, but this chip will be the first one built on TSMC's brand new 3nm process node technology, which means it'll be even more powerful because of a huge increase in performance per watt. Now, that 3nm process is gonna matter a lot for battery life, but as we all know, that aspect doesn't matter to a desktop machine like the iMac since it's always plugged in. However, the extra power savings will help the chip stay more cool and allow it to perform better without thermal throttling, which is something we experienced with the M1 iMac, especially the base model with only one fan that wasn't even connected to the chip's heatsink using heat pipes. And if you're wondering how powerful it's going to be compared to the previous M1 model, I made an entire video estimating the performance of the M3 chip by using leaked Apple A17 chip benchmarks, and as you can see, the single-core performance is going to be a massive 48% boost compared to the M1, as well as an even bigger 64% multi-core performance jump. It's gonna be so fast that the M3 chip will outperform the base model binned 10-core M2 Pro chip in the $2,000 14-inch MacBook Pro. So that's gonna be incredibly impressive for a $1,300 all-in-one iMac. And yes, I expect the price to stay exactly the same as it currently is right now, $1,300. So what the M3 chip basically means is that it's finally going to be fast enough for a lot of prosumers out there who skipped the first 24-inch iMac M1 model because it simply wasn't fast enough for their needs. But now that this one will be faster than the base 10-core M2 Pro, it's actually going to be a viable option for those who don't want to wait for the 27-inch higher-end iMac models, which I'll get into in just a second. And another thing to keep in mind is that the M3 chip will likely come with newer technology, like for example, new media engines with updated encoders and decoders for faster video editing and exporting. There were also rumors that Apple was working on a brand new, redesigned GPU for the A16 chip, but that ended up getting delayed until the A17 coming later this year. And as we already know, the M3 chip will be using the same cores from the A17 chip, so it'll be getting that advantage as well, including hardware ray tracing support. But getting back to the iMac itself, I think this one is going to be a killer upgrade option because you can finally get great performance in a thin and light all-in-one machine with less chances of overheating, and of course, it'll all be refined and fine-tuned now that Apple has some experience with this new iMac model. I'd say that it's honestly the perfect desktop Mac machine for kids and teens because first of all, it's very stylish, it's easy to set up and use, the operating system is very reliable and works great with AirDrop and everything else, and of course, it's going to be affordable for only $1,300 to get a complete plug-and-play machine that'll last for years without issues with viruses and malware like other desktop PC computers have. Now, as far as the release date, Mark Gurman said that the development is near the late stages, but it's not expected to go into mass production for at least 3 months, which means that it won't ship until the second half of the year at the earliest. Now, that earliest part is very important because, in my opinion, the iMac is going to come around 6 months after the launch of the M3 MacBook Air. So if the M3 Air launches at WWDC in June, then the M3 iMac would still come later in the fall of this year. But if the M3 MacBook Air gets delayed until the fall, then I don't expect to see this iMac until the spring of next year, so keep that in mind. Now, as far as the larger 27-inch iMac model, it might seem like Apple has completely given up on it, but no. Mark Gurman back in July confirmed that Apple is still working on a Pro iMac with a larger screen. He said that he imagines it would use a variation of the M3 chip, likely an M3 Pro and M3 Max, and that makes perfect sense to me because that Mac is meant to hit higher performance levels, but I don't think the cooling system would be able to handle an M3 Ultra chip, since the M1 Ultra is currently only in the Mac Studio, and the M2 Ultra is only expected to go into the upcoming Mac Pro, which are both very high-end machines that need really good cooling systems. In my opinion, the M3 Pro and Max chips will probably only show up in the summer or fall of 2024, so that's the earliest that I would expect the 27-inch iMac to come, but I think it's going to be a killer machine for those who need lots of performance. I even think there's a chance that Apple could do the same thing that they're doing with the 24-inch iMac and place the entire computer into the chin of the larger 27-inch iMac model. Now, that might seem crazy because those faster chips require a bigger cooling system, but the larger 27-inch iMac would technically have a longer and larger chin in order to stay proportional, and the design would be thicker as well while still looking great thanks to the bigger display size. Apple would likely jam-pack it with extra ports as well, just like we have in the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros, so it's really gonna be a professional's dream come true, including myself, since I used to work on an old iMac Pro for the last couple of years, and I'm currently waiting for an Apple Silicon version to come out. But of course, I skipped out on the 24-inch model because I needed more display space for multitasking and researching, so hopefully the iMac comes next year. So with all that said, if you're excited for the new M3 iMac, then comment your thoughts down below and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one, and definitely check out one of those two right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.